The doctor in front of your name.
Yeah. But you know, you're an advocate though for not just Ronnie, but also women in general, just kind of like, you know, holding a mirror and just getting to know your body.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely. I recommend to anybody I talk to, all my clients, at least once a month, once in between, after every cycle, menstrual cycle, just get you a little hand mirror and, you know, open up, say hello.
Okay.
And however you want to, you know, Meg said, put one leg on the headboard, look the other leg out, look at however you know, whatever your flexible capacities say, show, you know, one leg up on the toilet seat, in the shower, whatever, just laying back on the bed, throw them both back behind your head, however, whatever works. But just get your hand mirror and just look so that you could just become familiar with what's happening down there. What does it look like? What's the positioning of certain things? Like, especially a lot of work that I do is with Christian women who aren't having sex. And clitoral atrophy is a thing. Like, it's kind of rare, but still very possible. Okay. And so you're not going to be able to notice if you're experiencing any atrophy if you're never looking at it. And unfortunately, a lot of us who come from those conservative religions who hold abstinence as a value believe that they don't need to engage with their body in that way unless they're getting ready to offer it over to their spouse. And so that goes back to the beginning of why I do what I do with Black women never being in a place of feeling like their body is their own. And I even had someone once tell me that, I'll just wait my husband to show me what's down there.
But where's the autonomy?
The agency, and there's no ownership.
Right.
And by when we do that, when you don't feel any ownership in yourself, you don't have any agency, you're more readily susceptible to disregard and abuse because you don't feel any sense of self or worth or value. When someone else treats you as if you don't have any worth or value. You can be like, oh, okay, yeah, that tracks. Right? And so just by looking, you don't have to, if you're not comfortable right away, you don't have to like touch yourself. And I think it's important to understand the difference between like self-pleasure and exploration. Like we're you know, moving, you know, our labia, pulling back the hood just to, number one, for circulation, to fight against atrophy, but also just make sure you're not seeing any discoloration, that you're not seeing any, you know, if the labias are hanging a little bit lower or things are, you know, shifting or, you know, things like that. I had an experience, I had weight loss surgery in 2016 and I had lost over 100 pounds. And prior to that, I had never been, you know, focused on looking at my vulva. I couldn't quite reach it actually because, you know, I was built for it tough. I couldn't.
Stop?
I'm just saying, I couldn't get down there. But after I had lost weight and I got, you know, a little bit more of my flexibility back, I was like, hey, what's going on down there? And I was like, what's going on down there? I was so concerned. Like, I spent a lot of time and a lot of money on copays going back and forth to the doctor, like, hey, what's happening? And my doctor, who I love, Black woman, was like, girl, it's skin. She was like, when you know how when you lose weight and stuff move and shift and hang everywhere? She was like, did you think that your vulva was going to be any different? And like what I was thought I was like, I had like growth and this and that. It was just a hymenal tag. Like the hymen went away, like it, you know, separated as it does. And it was just like the skin just hanging out there. And I was like, but I was so shocked and so scared and so afraid. And oh my God, and I never did anything. And I promise I didn't cheat on you. Like my husband was like, girl.
But that's why it's important to like be an advocate for studying our bodies and like being familiar with it, even outside of the bedroom, like when you're you know, engaging in intimacy or whatever.
Correct. Yeah. And I think that's the key part that you said, outside of the bedroom, because unfortunately we spend a lot of time connecting our bodies to sex. When we think about our bodies, we think about our genitals, we think about nudity, we only really have that conversation in relation to sexual expression, but bodies aren't inherently sexual. We are sexual beings as humans, but bodies aren't inherently sexual. Nudity isn't inherently sexual. You looking at your, you know, your vulva and make sure everybody is where it's supposed to be isn't inherently sexual, but because we do that, then the shame and the guilt that is attached to sexual expression comes right along with it.
The doctor in front of your name.